Ever wondered if that special someone is actually into you?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to deep dive into figuring that out.
Okay.
Some not so subtle clues that can reveal if they actually have feelings for you.
Interesting.
We've got this fun list of 10 signs of attraction.
Signs.
We're going to unpack them all. So
Right.
some are pretty obvious, like dressing to impress.
Right.
But others are way more intriguing, like how your voice can be a turn on.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah. What's fascinating is how so many of these signs are actually rooted in biology
Really?
and evolutionary history.
Yeah.
We're sending out signals we're not even aware of.
Subconsciously.
Subconsciously, yeah.
So, okay, let's start with those subconscious cues.
Okay.
This list mentions men puffing out their chests around attractive women.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds a bit comical, but I guess it's that primal instinct, right?
It absolutely is. To appear bigger, stronger.
Like a gorilla.
Yeah, a classic example of signaling fitness and desirability without even realizing it.
Without even knowing it.
And it's not just men.
No.
Think about women adjusting their hair, their clothes.
Oh, right.
It's all about subtly enhancing appearance.
Yeah. So it's like we're all peacocks.
Yeah, flashing our feather.
Flashing our feathers, exactly.
But, the list emphasizes that behavior is often more reliable
Oh, okay.
than looks alone.
Actions speak louder than words.
Right. And when it comes to attraction, our eyes are often the first giveaway.
The eyes. Yes.
Yeah.
This list really dives deep into this looking, staring, how someone looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've all experienced that awkward, caught staring moment, haven't we?
It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
Prolonged eye contact is incredibly powerful.
It is.
It conveys attention, depth,
Right.
even triggers physical reactions,
Like what?
like increased heart rate, butterflies.
Ooh, yeah, that electric charge
Right.
when your eyes meet. Have you ever felt that?
Of course, yeah.
Like an instant connection.
Yeah.
What actually happening in those moments?
Well, it's not just about the duration of the eye contact. It's the quality, There's a difference between a casual glance
Yeah.
and a gaze that seems to pierce through you.
Oh, yeah.
Studies have shown that prolonged eye contact can actually trigger the release of phenylethylamine.
What is that?
It's a neurochemical
Okay.
associated with feelings of infatuation.
Wow, so there's actual chemistry happening.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one really caught my attention. Our voices can be a huge turn on.
Yeah, the sound of someone's voice can be incredibly evocative,
I mean,
conveying emotions, personality, even physical traits.
oh, wow.
And research shows that a deeper voice
Oh, okay.
is often perceived as more attractive, especially by women.
So there's more to it than just a, Barry White effect.
Right. While deeper voices are often associated with strength and maturity, qualities that can be subconsciously appealing
Right.
from an evolutionary standpoint.
Yeah.
But it's not just about pitch. Tone, pace, even laughter contribute to vocal attractiveness.
So much to think about. Okay, this list mentions something called romantic gravity.
Romantic gravity, okay.
It's this idea of leaning in, closing the space between you.
Yeah.
It's almost like an invisible force is pulling you together.
It's amazing how we instinctively
Yeah.
decrease physical distance
Oh, interesting.
with someone we're drawn to.
The list gives an example of legs touching under the table, even if you're seated far apart.
Yeah, it's like you can't help but gravitate towards them.
Yeah.
And there's a scientific reason for that.
Really?
Proximity and touch trigger the release of hormones,
Oh, okay.
like oxytocin,
Okay.
which promotes bonding and feelings of closeness.
So think back to a time when you felt that undeniable pull towards someone.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be why? It's like your bodies are literally drawn to each other.
It is. It is.
But doesn't this get tricky to figure out?
Well,
What if someone's just a close talker?
it's true. Context is key.
Okay.
But often with romantic gravity, there's a sense of intentionality.
Okay.
It's not just about being close. It's about creating a shared space.
Oh, okay.
Almost like building a little world for just the two of you.
I like that. Okay, so it's more about that feeling of intimacy. This list also claims that attraction can make you glow literally.
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 It's not magic,
Oh.
but it might feel like it.
Okay.
When we're attracted to someone, our bodies go into a mild fight-or-flight response.
Hold on. Fight or flight, isn't that for danger?
Yeah.
Not exactly romantic.
It's the same physiological response, but in this case,
Okay.
it's triggered by excitement and anticipation.
Oh.
This increases oil and sweat production, making the skin appear more reflective.
So it's not a golden glow. It's more like nervous sweat.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
But that extra moisture
Uh-huh.
on the skin can make it appear more radiant.
So your body's own natural highlighter.
It is. It is.
Interesting. So next time someone looks a bit shiny around you, maybe they're just smitten.
Maybe.
But you're saying this is all tied to those fight or flight hormones.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that also make someone more jittery, awkward?
You're absolutely right.
Really?
Being attracted to someone can actually make you act more awkward, not less.
Oh, interesting. The list talks about nervous stickics and fidgeting. It seems counterintuitive. You'd think if you liked someone, you'd be smooth and confident.
When we're around someone we like, our brains go into overdrive,
Ooh.
processing emotions,
Okay.
trying to make a good impression.
Right.
This can lead to nervous sickics, fidgeting,
Right.
even stumbling over our words.
So if you're crushing on someone and they're acting super awkward,
Yeah.
it might actually be a good sign.
Precisely.
Their brain is just working overtime.
They might be hand-wringing, fidgeting, or constantly adjusting their clothes.
Right.
All because they're subconsciously trying to soothe their nerves.
Okay, now let's talk about touch. We all know it can be powerful.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between a casual hug and a meaningful touch, right?
Absolutely. The list points out the contrast between a handshake,
Right.
which is more formal,
Uh-huh.
and a hug, which implies a closer connection.
And in a romantic context, touch becomes even more nuanced, right? This is
Yeah.
where things get really interesting.
Exactly. Romantic touch is often about testing boundaries
Okay.
and escalating intimacy. It
Okay,
could
yeah.
be an arm around the shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
a hand on the lower back, or even a fleeting touch on the arm.
Yeah. It's like a delicate dance, figuring out what level of touch is appropriate. What's fascinating is how each touch can send a message,
Right.
either consciously or subconsciously.
You're right. And it all ties back to those hormones we were talking about.
Uh-huh.
Touch can trigger the release of oxytocin and dopamine, which are associated with pleasure and bonding.
So even a simple touch can have a powerful effect on our brains and emotions. This is incredible. There's so much more to uncover in this world of attraction, but I think we need to pause here for now. When we return, we'll continue our deep dive into these fascinating signs, and I can't wait to hear what else this list has in store for us.
You know, as we delve deeper into these signs, it really highlights the dance between our conscious actions and subconscious reactions.
It's true. Before the break, we were talking about touch and how it can escalate intimacy.
Right?
This list makes an interesting point, how romantic touch is often about testing boundaries.
Yeah. Think of it as a delicate negotiation,
Okay.
a way of gauging the other person's comfort level and interest.
Interesting.
A hand on the small of the back might linger a bit longer.
Right.
A hug might be a little tighter.
Right.
A touch on the arm might become a gentle caress.
Oh, so it's all about reading those subtle cues,
Right.
both physical and emotional. See if the attraction is mutual. But are there other types of touch that can signal attraction?
Sure.
It doesn't always have to be so serious, right?
You're right. Sometimes it's more playful.
Okay.
Think about those lighthearted touches.
Yeah.
A playful nudge, a lighthearted slap on the arm,
Mm-hmm.
even accidentally bumping into each other.
Right.
These can create a spark of connection.
Especially when accompanied by laughter and smiles.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like those moments in romantic comedies where the couple keeps almost touching,
Yes.
their hands brushing against each other, building up the tension.
Yes. It's amazing how those seemingly insignificant moments
Right.
can be the most charged with meaning.
Exactly. And speaking of physical responses, remember how we were talking about the fight or flight response?
Yes.
Well, blushing is a perfect example of how our bodies betray our emotions,
Right.
even when we try to hide them.
Even when we try to hide them.
Yeah, we usually associate blushing with embarrassment, but it can definitely happen when you're attracted to someone. Yeah. So you're saying it's not just that we're flustered. There's actually a physiological reaction happening.
Absolutely. Blushing is a primal response
Okay.
triggered by the release of adrenaline,
Right.
which causes blood vessels to dilate, particularly in the face and neck.
Oh, okay.
And while it can happen in various situations,
Right.
when it's coupled with attraction, it adds another layer to that unspoken language.
So that rosy glow might be a sign that Cupid's arrow has struck? Okay, this next one from the list really throws me for a loop. It says that if someone seems distracted when you're talking to them, it could actually be a sign that they're head over heels for you.
It does seem counterintuitive.
Huh.
We associate attentiveness with interest.
Yeah.
So why would someone who's attracted to us seem distant or preoccupied?
Exactly. You'd think they'd be hanging on your every word, eager to learn everything about you. Is this really a thing?
It can be. Well, attentiveness is common in the early stages of attraction.
Okay.
As feelings deepen, the intensity can be overwhelming.
Oh.
This can lead to what some researchers call attentional depletion. Their mind is racing with thoughts and emotions, trying to process those feelings.
So they're not actually bored.
Right.
They're just so captivated by us that they can't quite keep up with the conversation.
It's a possibility.
That's kind of sweet when you think about it.
It is. It's like their brain is working overtime,
Right.
which can lead to seeming distracted or even a little clumsy.
Okay.
But of course, context is key.
Right.
If someone is consistently distracted or disengaged, it might signal a lack of interest.
Good point. You got to look at the bigger picture. Speaking of being captivated, this list talks about mirroring behavior. It says that when we're attracted to someone, we subconsciously mirror their actions.
It's called mirroring or mimicry,
Okay.
and it happens in many social interactions, not just romantic ones.
Oh, interesting.
It's a way of building rapport,
Yeah.
signaling empathy,
Right.
establishing a connection.
So it's not just about copying someone's every move.
Right, it's more subtle.
Yeah.
It's about unconsciously aligning our behavior with theirs,
Huh.
creating a sense of harmony and understanding.
So if you notice someone subtly mirroring your movements,
Yeah.
like crossing their legs after you do or taking a sip of their drink when you do,
Yeah.
it could be a sign that they're subconsciously trying to connect with you.
Right.
But wouldn't that be hard to notice?
It can be,
It's all so subtle.
but often it's something we pick up on intuitively.
Really?
We might not be consciously aware of the mirroring, but we feel a sense of connection and comfort
Oh,
with those who mirror us. It's like a secret language of attraction
wow.
spoken through our bodies.
That's fascinating. And this next one on the list plays into that idea of unspoken communication. It suggests that playful teasing or lighthearted touches can be a sign of attraction.
This is especially true in men,
Oh, really?
according to some evolutionary psychologists.
Okay.
Playful teasing can be a way of testing the waters,
Right.
seeing if the other person responds in kind.
So that playful nudge,
Yes.
that lighthearted slap on the arm,
Mhm.
could actually be their way of flirting.
It's certainly a possibility,
Okay.
especially when combined with other signs of attraction,
Right. Yeah.
like prolonged eye contact,
Mm-hmm.
mirroring, or increased attentiveness.
So you've got to look at the whole package.
Exactly. It's all about reading the context.
Okay.
A playful touch from a friend
Right.
is different from a playful touch from someone you're attracted to.
Yeah.
And of course, consent and communication are always key.
Couldn't agree more. Now, this list also mentions preening behavior, which is basically any action we take to enhance our appearance.
Right.
Is this another subconscious thing?
It can be both conscious and subconscious.
Okay.
Think about adjusting your clothes, smoothing your hair,
Mm-hmm.
checking your reflection. These are all ways of wanting to make a good impression,
Mm-hmm.
to present our best selves
Right.
to someone we find attractive.
It's like that classic scene in a movie where the girl sees the guy she likes
Yes.
and suddenly starts frantically reapplying her lipstick.
Exactly. It's a natural response.
Right.
And it's not limited to women.
No.
Men preen, too. Maybe adjusting their tie or smoothing their hair.
Yeah, it's that peacock spreading its feathers,
Exactly.
trying to attract a mate.
Yeah.
We all want to look our best when we're trying to impress someone. What about something a little less obvious?
Sure.
Are there any physiological changes that can tip us off?
Absolutely. The list mentions dilated pupils.
Dilated pupils. Okay.
You know, when we see something we like,
Yeah.
including a person we find attractive, our pupils widen.
Really? That's amazing. So someone's pupils get bigger when they look at you. It's a good sign, right?
It's definitely a possible indicator of attraction, but it's important to consider other factors like lighting conditions
Oh,
and medications that can affect pupil size.
So while it's something to watch for,
Mhm.
it shouldn't be the only clue you rely on.
Exactly. It's just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Now, this list also dives into some behavioral patterns.
It's okay.
Have you noticed how sometimes when a man is attracted to a woman, he might go out of his way to be helpful or protective.
Oh, absolutely. Like offering to carry heavy bags,
Yeah.
walk you to your car at night, or even fix that leaky faucet.
Right, right.
But couldn't that just be common courtesy? How do you know it's more than that?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's important to distinguish between genuine kindness
Right.
and calculated attempts to manipulate or control.
Okay.
But often, when these chivalrous acts are motivated by attraction,
Yeah.
there's a certain attentiveness, a willingness to go above and beyond.
So it's about paying attention to the details,
Mm-hmm.
the extra effort they're putting in.
Exactly. It's those little things
Yeah.
that reveal their true intentions. Now, moving on to a slightly different aspect of attraction, the list also suggests that increased self-disclosure can be a sign of romantic interest.
So if someone starts confiding in you,
Yeah.
sharing personal thoughts and feelings,
Yeah.
it might mean they're attracted to you.
It's a definite possibility.
Okay.
When we share personal information,
Yeah.
we're making ourselves vulnerable,
Right.
signaling trust and a desire for deeper connection.
But shouldn't self-disclosure be a two-way street?
Absolutely. It's about building a shared sense of intimacy and vulnerability.
Okay.
If someone is constantly sharing but never seems interested in hearing about your life,
Yeah.
that could be a red flag.
Yeah, that makes sense. Healthy relationships are all about balance and reciprocity. So what else does this list suggest we look out for?
Well, it brings up the importance of remembering the little things.
Okay.
When we're attracted to someone, we tend to pay more attention to what they say and do,
Mm.
remembering details others might overlook.
It's like they're creating a mental file because they find you so intriguing.
Exactly.
So if someone remembers your birthday or that funny story you told them weeks ago,
yes,
it could be a sign they're smitten.
precisely.
Okay.
It shows they're paying attention, not just to your words,
Right.
but to the nuances of your personality and preferences.
Okay.
It's a way of saying, you matter to me,
Yeah.
without actually saying it.
That's so true. Now, this list also talks about making an effort. When we're attracted to someone, we're more likely to go out of our way to spend time with them,
Right?
even if it means inconvenience or sacrifice.
Yes.
But how do you differentiate between genuine interest and just being polite?
You're right. That can be tricky.
Yeah.
But often when attraction is involved,
Yeah.
there's a consistency to their effort.
Okay.
They'll cancel other plans,
Mm-hmm.
drive across town, or stay up late talking on the phone just to be with you.
Yeah. It's like they're saying, you're worth the effort.
Right.
And that's a pretty powerful message to receive.
It really is.
Yeah.
And speaking of powerful messages,
Yeah.
this list wraps up with something we've all experienced.
Compliments.
Compliments. Oh, yeah.
When we're attracted to someone, we're more likely to compliment them,
Right.
both on their appearance and personality.
It's like a little spark of connection.
Yeah.
A way of saying, I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
And those compliments can be incredibly effective in sparking romance.
You're absolutely right. They're a form of flirting,
Yeah.
a way of expressing interest and admiration. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive into the signs of attraction.
Yeah.
It's incredible how much information we can gather from observing someone's behavior.
It's true. We've explored everything from subtle body language cues to grand romantic gestures, but I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's take a moment to reflect. What stands out to you the most from what we've discussed so far?
So many signs of attraction, Ryder.
Yeah. From the subtle to the not so subtle, there's a whole world of communication happening.
Yeah, like a secret code.
The secret code?
Yeah, we're all trying to crack it. But as we've been discussing, context is key.
Right.
These signs are like pieces of a puzzle.
Yeah.
Individually, they might not mean much, but when you see several of them together, the picture becomes a lot clearer.
You got to gather all the clues.
Yeah.
And use your intuition to figure out what they really mean.
Right.
Speaking of intuition, how much should we trust our gut feelings when it comes to attraction? I've definitely had those moments where I just knew someone was interested,
Yeah.
even if they weren't being super obvious about it.
Well, intuition is incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
especially in matters of the heart. We often pick up on subtle cues that our conscious minds might miss.
Okay.
Think of it as your subconscious processing all those tiny details.
Okay, yeah.
The fleeting touches, the lingering glances, the changes in tone of voice. So you're saying those gut feelings are often based on real observations.
Yeah.
Even if we're not consciously aware of them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But what if we're wrong?
Yeah.
Rejection is no fun.
That's true. There's always a risk. But honestly, wouldn't you rather know for sure?
Yeah.
Even if it's not the answer you were hoping for.
Right.
Living in ambiguity can be so much more frustrating in the long run.
That's a good point. Plus, having the courage to express your feelings, I think, can be attractive in itself.
Absolutely.
Just confidence.
Yeah,
But let's be realistic, putting yourself out there can be scary.
absolutely. But remember, vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness.
Right.
And even if the romantic interest isn't reciprocated,
Mm-hmm.
you've gained valuable experience in being open and authentic.
Yeah,
That's a skill that will serve you well in all areas of life, not just dating.
that's true. So to recap, pay attention to the signs, trust your gut,
Yeah.
but ultimately, don't be afraid to have that direct conversation.
Well said. Clear communication is the foundation of any strong and healthy relationship,
Right.
romantic or otherwise.
Yeah.
These signs can give you a starting point,
Yeah.
but the best way to truly know someone's feelings is to ask.
It all comes back to communication. This has been an incredibly eye-opening deep dive into the world of attraction.
Yeah, it has.
We've learned that our bodies, behaviors, and even our subconscious minds are constantly sending out signals.
We've explored the science behind these signals,
Right.
the evolutionary roots, and even the psychology of attraction. But what I find most fascinating is how these subtle cues
Yeah.
can deepen our understanding of human connection.
It's true. It's like learning a whole new language. And now it's up to you to go out there and decode it.
Exactly.
Pay attention to those subtle signs, trust your instincts, and most importantly, have the courage to connect. You never know what might happen.
Embrace the mystery, the excitement, and the possibility. That lies within every interaction. Because at the end of the day, human connection is what makes life truly meaningful.
Beautifully said. That's it for this deep dive into the fascinating world of attraction. Until next time, happy decoding.